Inside this case is a gadget that I think a lot of people should have at home, maybe in the office, in the garage, or just have available. It's something that I didn't think I really needed until I actually got my hands on it and started playing around with some of the functionality. So stay tuned and we'll check out what this gadget is and why it's useful around the home. Hey, it's HighTechDad, and today I'm looking at this kind of cool gadget. It is a multifunctional articulating borescope, and it's by a company called Sanyipace. Sanyipace actually makes a lot of similar products. This is more of a consumer product. They make higher end sort of drain inspection products. I kind of wish I had one of the really high end ones because I got plumbing issues in my backyard, but that's another story. So anyway, this is sort of the consumer grade. This is what you get in the case, and I'll go into some of the details. But what's a borescope? Basically, it is a camera on a flexible kind of cable. And this one is articulating. It's got two cameras. It's got a light. You can record videos. You can record photos. It's kind of cool. So let's take a look at it in action. Maybe I'll wander around the house and find some random things that we could film with. So stay tuned. So let's take a look at what's actually in the box. This is the box. This is by Sanyipace Multifunctional Articulating Borescopes. What's a borescope? I mentioned it briefly, but essentially it is a camera on a flexible cable that goes to a device where you can see the video based on what's at the end of the camera. So it's really useful for getting into hard to see or access places. Think about working on an engine or inspecting cables in the wall or going down into a drain and looking for cracks or I don't know, all sorts of different things. And I may go into some of those use cases in a little bit. So what do you get in the case? Well, actually, let's talk about the case. Semi-rigid case here. It's really nice. You can put everything together. Inside, you have the manual. Not too much in the manual. The functionality is pretty simple. You get a USB-A to USB-C charging cable, which you charge this the device directly, and then you have the borescope itself. So you can see this is the flexible cable. You can bend it around. At the end here, underneath the protective cover, there is a camera. I'll go into this a little bit later, but also something that you don't know, on the bottom side here is another camera. So you can not only do forward facing, you can do side facing. And then it's articulating. So using a control here, you can actually rotate back and forward to see what's coming up and what's behind you. I'll go into the functionality that you get with this very simple device, and maybe we'll walk around the house and take a look at some random things that you normally can't access by regular eyesight. So first, a quick disclaimer here. They have it printed on the manual. It's funny that they have to do it, but it makes a lot of sense. It says, warning, this product is a multifunctional articulating borescope camera and is not intended for medical use or human examination. Basically, don't take the camera and stick it in places where you shouldn't be sticking it. Enough said. So let's take a look at some of the functionality of this articulating borescope from Sanyipace and find out what it does. So first, let's talk about the physical device itself. It's fairly lightweight. The cable is about 5 feet long, which is good for getting into drains or hard to access places. This is not a super long cable camera, so you're kind of limited to this length, but it is very flexible, easy to bend. You can see, it bends right in half. You can go in multiple directions. Then the IPS screen is 5 inches here, so it's high definition. I'll show you how that works. Other than that, it's a basic kind of handheld device. Got your buttons on the front. You have a power button on the front. On the side, underneath some protection, is a USB-C charger. you have a reset, and then there is a micro SD card. It does come with a 32 gig micro SD card that is pre-installed, which is awesome because you can start taking photos and recording videos right out of the box. So I just left it in there. If you want to transfer videos or photos over to your computer, you can either pop out the SD card, the micro SD card and TF card, and you can put it into your computer, or you can use the USB connection, USB-C connection to connect to your computer. I haven't gotten that to work yet, so I'll probably just be taking out the TF card and testing it that way. So let's take a look at some of the functionality on screen. So at the top, you press and hold the power button, screen comes on, little splash page. You can automatically see what's coming from the camera. So hopefully you guys can see that okay. See my sofa here. You can articulate it over so you can see that's the sofa. Anyway, let's go through some of the functions here. So you have a settings button, you have a light brightness button, which, so basically the LED light is on right now. And you can see, if I bring it closer, you can change, turn on, turn off the brightness. Kind of hard to see, but that's what that first button is for. You have the OK button, which is useful for when you're going through settings. So you can scroll along and go to different settings. Hopefully you can see this. So like I can set the resolution to 1080p. You can scroll down to 720p or go VGA, which is 480. So you can go along, click OK. You can click and go through some of the other options on here. You can set the auto power off. So after 5 minutes to preserve your battery, you can turn that off, 10 minutes, or just turn it off altogether. So I'm going to leave it at 5 minutes. So you can scroll through, set languages to whatever you want. And there are lots of different ones built into the interface. I'm going to leave it at English. You can set date, time. You can format the microSD TF card. You can reset to default settings. You can erase the internal memory and find out what version you're on. So those are the settings that are there. Then you have the option, I'm gonna go over to some of the other things here. So up in the corner, hopefully you can see it shows a little camera icon. If I press the M, which is mode, it now switches to video mode. So I'm in video mode. If I hit it again, it goes into the file browser. I don't have anything recorded quite yet. So let's go into some of the critical functionality of the Sanyipace Articulating Borescope. So obviously it's the camera. Actually, two cameras, because as I mentioned, there's the one at the end, but there's also one built into the side, as I mentioned. So this can be helpful if you're going into a smaller place where you can't use the actual articulating arm to get in. So then you have to turn on the side camera to get a side view. So how do you do that? This was something that isn't easily found in the documentation, but I do think should be called out. So you have obviously the buttons here. You have one button here that shows a camera, and this is what you use to, right now I'm in camera mode, take a photo. If I switch over to video mode, if I hit that, it'll start recording. You can see the recording has started. I hit it again to stop it. But then what you didn't know is this secret hidden feature on activating the side camera. And what you do is you press and hold that button, the camera button again. And now I'm using, you can see this is the side camera and it has a light as well. So I'm turning it on. You can see there's the light and it has varying levels of intensity. And then to switch back to the front facing camera, you press and hold. So now I'm back to the front facing camera. So there's some other neat things that you can do. You can flip the image around if you need to. by hitting this button here. So you can see it rotates it like 180 degrees. You can also pause something, like if you want to take a snapshot without taking a snapshot. Trying to remember the button for that. And this is for the light, obviously. But if you click the OK, you can see it's paused something. So you want to get a close-up on something. Click OK, and then you can actually take a look at it and have a freeze frame of it, essentially. Another nifty function is if you're in your video or photo mode, you can actually use sort of a digital zoom to zoom in on something. So press and hold. I'm at 1.3x size. Press and hold again. 1.5, so it's even closer. Press and hold again, and it resets. So let's wander around the house or walk around outside and test this out and see how it works. I'll record some videos, which I've already put into storage. These are just a few from right now, and then we can go through and test it out. So I will put some of these footages in the video itself, so you can see the quality and what we can do. Let's go check it out. So one of the most obvious tests that you want to use with the borescope is to actually take a look in a drain. So right now I actually have it inside here, but you can't see anything. Why? Because the light isn't on. So let's turn on the light, and all of a sudden I can see my wonderfully clean garbage disposal, and I can move the head around to see things. But let's say it's really tight in there and I want to see the side camera. I can just press and hold that, and it switches. Now I can actually see some of the food on the side. It's pretty clean. But anyway, that's one use case. So inspecting plumbing and pipes and that sort of thing. So let's say I dropped something on the floor, it rolled underneath the piano, and I have no idea where it is. So obviously it's going to be kind of hard to move the piano. Have this on. Going to start, let's see, make sure that I'm in video mode, start recording, just so I can show it later. But the nice thing is I have this underneath, and I can use the articulating head to simply see what's underneath and move around. There's a power cord, a lot of dust, and other things in there. So it's gone 180 degrees, and it looks like whatever I was looking for isn't in there. So for those people who work in cars, I don't. I keep looking for the USB port inside here to turn the damn thing on. Kidding. But a borescope like this is actually quite handy to be able to go and inspect certain things. I've seen some other videos where people actually are putting in to take a look at the spark plugs or something like that. So you can get into a lot of different crevices and places that you couldn't normally access. I'm going to start filming this and I'll show it. So you can obviously see this kind of stuff here on the top, but getting down into the harder places to see in here and being able to move the head around to get into those places, take a look at belts and other connections, look for leaks. It's really helpful. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. I can barely change the oil, and this is my beater car. So you can see, obviously, there are a lot of spider webs and things on it. So this is yet another use case that you can use with the borescope. So hope that makes sense. So that's a quick walkthrough of the Sanyipace Articulating Borescope. This is a consumer level borescope. It is obviously shorter, only 5 feet of cable length. They do have professional ones that can go 150, 200 feet, much more expensive. This retails for a couple $100, maybe a little bit less than $200. It's It's actually a really good gadget to have around the house. I'm still getting used to how to use the articulating arm a bit and how to flip things around and figuring out what I can inspect. But there's lots of things around here. And the problem is every time I inspect something, I go, oh God, I got to clean that. I got to fix that. I got to patch that. So with a little bit of warning, if you get one of these, you're suddenly going to have a really long to-do list of things that you need to do. So couple of last things. It is IP67 certified, so you can get it wet. You can stick it down a drain or a toilet or something like that. Just make sure that you clean it. Don't use it for inspecting body parts or things like that unless you're doing it from a distance, like your ear from like this far away, or maybe looking in your throat or something like that. Anyway, I've written more about this on my website at HighTechDad.com. Obviously, you can ask me on social. You can find me. I'm at HighTechDad on a variety of social platforms. Follow me on Facebook. You can message me there, and I'm at facebook.com/HTDblog. Be sure to like, subscribe, click the button. The more likes and comments and questions that I get on my social media, the more I want to do articles and reviews and videos and that sort of thing. But be sure to subscribe and like, and hopefully I'll see you all soon next time with some more product reviews, tech reviews. Let me know what you want me to review. And thanks for watching.